Around 1200 BCE, the world changed forever, and it changed in ways that historians and archaeologists still struggle to explain. Imagine a time when mighty empires had flourished for over 1,000 years. The Hittites, whose capital rivaled the splendor of Babylon, the Mycenaean Greeks, whose heroes inspired legends, the pharaohs of Egypt, rulers of an unbroken dynasty, and the cosmopolitan cities of Cyprus, Ugarit, and coastal Anatolia, vital hubs in a network of trade that spanned seas and continents. In the space of just a few decades, nearly all of these civilizations collapsed. Palaces burned, cities emptied, trade routes vanished, and the records of entire peoples fell silent. The architects of this destruction were known only as the Sea Peoples, mysterious invaders who emerged from the darkness of the unknown, struck with devastating force, and then disappeared as suddenly as they had arrived. Who were these shadowy raiders, capable of toppling civilizations that had endured for centuries? Where did they come from, and what drove their relentless conquest of the Eastern Mediterranean? How could a confederation of peoples, seemingly without a homeland, orchestrate attacks across thousands of miles, wielding naval technology and weapons superior to the world's greatest powers? The Sea Peoples remain one of history's most tantalizing and unsolved mysteries. Egyptian records, etched into stone at the walls of Medinet Habu, depict the chaos. Ships with high prows and rams slicing through waves, warriors in feathered headdresses and scale armor clashing with Pharaoh Ramesses III's armies. The inscriptions tell of lands laid waste, cities burned, and refugees flooding into Egypt. Ramesses III, the last great pharaoh of Egypt's new kingdom, barely managed to turn back the tide. His own scribes described the invaders with awe and terror. No land could stand before their arms. The devastation was total. The mighty Hittite Empire vanished from the map, its capital Hattusa reduced to rubble. Mycenaean Greece, once the stage for the epic tales of Homer, fell into a centuries-long dark age, isolated villages replacing once glorious citadels. Cyprus, trade nexus of the Bronze Age, was ravaged. Ugarit, a city famed for its libraries and connections from Babylon to Crete, was obliterated, its final letters pleading for help as the enemy closed in. Coastal Anatolia was ransacked, its cities burned and abandoned. The scale of destruction is revealed in the archaeological record. Beneath layers of ash and collapsed masonry, we find palaces abandoned as if their inhabitants fled in terror, pottery styles suddenly changing, and weapons of unknown design scattered among the ruins. In dozens of sites, from Troy to the Levant, scholars uncover the silent aftermath of catastrophe. Yet, in all these ruins, there is no decipherable record left by the Sea Peoples themselves. Their language remains unknown, their origins obscured, their motives a matter of speculation. Who were these invaders? The ancient Egyptians named several distinct groups: Peliset, Cheker, Shekelesh, Denyen, Weshesh, and scholars have spent generations trying to match these names to known peoples. The Peliset may have become the biblical Philistines, settling along the coasts of Canaan and reshaping the region's history. The Denyen are possibly linked to the Danaans of Homer's Iliad. The Shekelesh may be related to the island of Sicily, and the Cheker to enigmatic naval raiders. The Weshesh, perhaps the most mysterious, have no obvious homeland at all. What drove these peoples to such ferocity and coordination? Climate records suggest catastrophe. Around 1200 BCE, the Eastern Mediterranean was gripped by severe drought. Crop failures led to famine, mass migration, and the unraveling of societies. Empires weakened by internal strife and hunger were vulnerable, ripe for invasion by desperate, displaced peoples. Some theorize that the invaders were climate refugees, forced from their homes by environmental collapse. Others suggest they were mercenaries, once employed by the great kings, but now turned rogue, united by necessity and opportunity. Yet the Sea Peoples were not mere barbarians. Their ships, described in Egyptian reliefs, featured advanced ram designs and construction techniques unknown to their adversaries. They wielded long swords and new weaponry, hinting at the dawn of the Iron Age. Their attacks were coordinated by land and sea, striking multiple targets across vast distances in rapid succession. Families traveled with the warriors, women and children among the raiding fleets, suggesting not just conquest, but permanent resettlement. The impact of their invasions was profound. The end of the Bronze Age ushered in a 300-year dark age in Greece, a period of technological regression and isolation. International trade collapsed, once bustling harbors falling silent. Massive population migrations reshaped the map as survivors fled or were absorbed into new societies. Knowledge was lost, cities forgotten, and the interconnected world of the Bronze Age faded into legend. Egypt alone survived, barely. Ramesses III's victory, immortalized in stone, may have saved the Nile kingdom from destruction, but even Egypt was left diminished, its reach curtailed, its golden age ended. The fate of the Sea Peoples themselves remains shrouded in mystery. Some settled in conquered territories, merging with local populations and giving rise to new cultures, as the Philistines did in Palestine. Others may have been destroyed by the very disasters they helped unleash: famine, war, and environmental collapse. Or they simply faded into history, their confederation dissolving as the old world crumbled. Modern scholars debate the true nature of the Sea People's success. Was it the result of new iron technology, a quantum leap in weaponry that rendered bronze obsolete? Did their advanced ships give them mastery of the waves? Or were they simply the product of a perfect storm? Climate crisis, internal collapse, and migration converging in a moment of unstoppable chaos. The mystery endures, fed by archaeological clues, destruction layers, burned palaces, weapon fragments of unknown design, pottery styles unlike any seen before. The story of the Sea Peoples invites comparisons with the Vikings, whose sudden maritime raids transformed medieval Europe, or the barbarian invasions that toppled Rome, or the unexplained disappearances of the Maya and Easter Island, moments when history itself seemed to turn on forces beyond understanding. What if everything we know about the Bronze Age collapse is wrong? What if the Sea Peoples were not just raiders, but the agents of a lost civilization, one whose secrets remain hidden beneath the waves and sands? The ancient invasion that archaeology can't explain may hold the key to understanding the fragility of civilization, the power of the unknown, and the enduring allure of history's greatest unsolved case. As we peer into the abyss of the past, the legacy of the Sea Peoples reminds us, sometimes the most profound truths are those that remain just beyond our grasp, waiting for the next discovery, the next revelation, the next dive into the hidden depths of time.